Good morning, everyone. There it is, okay. Good morning, everyone. What a crowd. So good to see everybody here this morning. My name is Fletcher Walsh, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees. As a reminder, let's remember to silence our cell phones as we welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist congregation in Shenandoah Valley. Today is a special day. Today, through music, readings, and by sermon, we will explore our commitment to climate justice, going far beyond what we can see, deeply diving into what can be imagined. A sincere thank you to the SAC for focusing on climate justice over the next several months, and a special shout out to Nancy Howe for making this event happen for us today. As noted, we are one of 380 congregations nationwide participating in events like these throughout the year. With open hearts and open minds, we are a welcoming congregation, united on the side of love and justice. You can find these core values expressed more vividly through our 8 principles, which we affirm, practice, and promote within this setting and throughout the community at large. It's our tradition to welcome first and second time visitors. Those of you who haven't been here in a while, to stand if you're comfortable in doing so. Introduce yourself and tell us where you're from. Can we start over here? Anybody? Somebody stand up, please. There we go.
Hi, I'm Lisa. I'm new. I just moved to Black Mountain last week.
Excellent. Anybody else? There you go. Go ahead.
I'm Bill. I'm a local, and this is my first time.
I'm Dana. I visited Michael last week and got tempted to come here from Nashville.
Welcome. Anybody else? Well, thank you all for coming today. We'd love to get to know you much better. And here are a couple of options. You can fill out these cards, which are in the back of the pews. You can place them on the table directly outside or on the collection plate. And we also have our potluck today, so please, if you're willing, come and join us today. We'd love to get to know a little bit more about you. Folks from our membership committee will be available to answer any questions that you might have. So we hope to see you there. We do have one announcement, or actually a couple of them. This is actually a reminder that the auction is scheduled for May 4th through the 10th. There'll be live music on the 10th for some light food, and there's still time to donate. The deadline is April 20th. Kathy has laid out in the current step-by-step process as to how to get into the internet and so on and so forth to do your donations. But if you have any further questions, please feel free to contact her. We're very optimistic that we think we're going to have a really good year this year, so thank you for your contributions. And as Evans brought up here, we're 95% to our fundraising. So I'd like to end like I've done the last 2 times, if we are all into it, and read our land acknowledgement together. It's found on the back of the order of service. And if everybody's ready, UUCSB acknowledges with respect that the land we're on today is the ancestral home of the Cherokee and of other indigenous people. The Cherokee, through stewardship, understanding, and conservation, survive and thrive in this land. We acknowledge their enduring connection to their homeland. Thank you very much. Let's begin our service.
Good morning, good morning. I see you're interested in climate justice. I'm interested too. Our opening words this morning are from the Indian poet Tagore. Let me not beg for the stilling of my pain, but for the heart to conquer it. Let me not crave an anxious fear to be saved, but hope for the patience to win my freedom. Give me the strength to make my love fruitful in service. Give me the strength to raise my mind high above life's daily trifles, where knowledge is free, where words come out from the depth of truth, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert and the sands of our dead habits. Into that heaven of freedom, let my country awake. Please rise as you are willing and able, and join in singing our opening hymn this morning. Hymn number 175. We celebrate the web of life.
This is a lesser known hymn, and I'm going to play it through once before we sing
Good morning. The story I'm going to share is actually one that is being read in multitudes of UU congregations this morning. So if you're young at heart or young in age, please come on up, and if you get closer, you can see the pictures a little better. So if anyone wants to come on up, I'm going to sit down here a moment and read it. And let me just say, the story. Thank you. All right. Got a guinea pig. This story is more for our age than yours. But we're all necessary for this story. Thank you, Jane. The story is called What Do You Do with a Problem? By Kobe Yamada and illustrated by Mae Brown. I don't know how it happened, but one day I had a problem. I didn't want it. I didn't ask for it. I really didn't like having a problem, but it was there. See there? Why is it here? What does it want? What do you do with a problem, I thought. I wanted to make it go away. I shooed it. I scowled it. I tried ignoring it, but nothing worked. I started to worry about my problem. What if it swallows me up? What if my problem sneaks up and gets me? What if it takes all my things? Oh. I worry about that. Oh, I worried a lot. I worried about what would happen. I worried what could happen. I worried about this, and I worried about that.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, it's getting closer. And the more I worried, the bigger my problem became. Sound familiar, anybody? I wished it would just disappear. I tried everything I could to hide from it. I even found ways to disguise myself. But it still found me. And the more I avoided my problem, the more I saw it everywhere. I thought about it all the time, and it didn't feel good at all. I couldn't take it anymore. This has to stop, I declared. Maybe I was making my problem bigger and scarier than it actually was. After all, my problem hadn't really swallowed me up or attacked me yet. I realized I had to face it. So even though I didn't want to, and even though I was really afraid, I got ready and I tackled my problem. And when I got face to face with it, I discovered something. My problem wasn't what I thought it was. I discovered it had something beautiful inside. My problem held an opportunity. It was an opportunity for me to learn and grow, to be brave, to do something. It showed me that it was important to look closely because some opportunities only come once. So now I see problems differently. I'm not afraid of them anymore because I know their secret. Every problem has an opportunity for something good. You just have to look for it. Didn't I tell you it was for the rest of us? All right, kids, we get to go.
Our responsive reading this morning is number 656 in back of the great hymnal. A harvest of gratitude. We'll read responsively. Once more the fields have ripened to harvest, and the fruitful earth has fulfilled the promise of spring.
The work of those who labor has been rewarded. They have sown and reaped, planted and gathered.
How rich and beautiful is the bounty gathered, the golden grain and clustered corn, the grapes of purple and green.
The crimson apples and yellow pears, and all the colors of orchard and garden, vineyard and field.
Season follows after season, after winter the spring, after summer the harvest-laden autumn.
From bud to blossom, from flower to fruit, from seed to bud again, the beauty of the earth unfolds.
From the harvest of the soil we are given occasion to garner a harvest of the heart and the mind.
A harvest of resolve to be careful stewards of all life's gifts and opportunities.
A harvest of reverence for the wondrous power and life at work in things that grow and in the soul.
harvest of gratitude for every good which we enjoy, and a fellowship for all who are sustained by earth's beauty.
Good morning. I just wanted to add to that nice shout out Fletcher gave me a few minutes ago and just thank the whole social action team for helping put this day together, as well as many other climate related activities in the coming months. An anthem is a rousing or uplifting song that is identified with a particular group or cause. For Climate Justice Sunday, the UUA planning team commissioned an anthem for over 380 churches around the country to celebrate not just today, but also our work for climate justice in the years to come. The talented musicians, Leah Morris and Adam Todd, have gifted UU churches with this song you're about to hear called Part of It. This anthem calls for us to choose survival. It is a poetic way of stating that we are committed to working for a flourishing world. Because our care for the planet and all of its creatures is an existential task, the lyrics reflect a sense of urgency, as well as passion, dedication, and joy in the work.
Moment
Can we give the choir another round? So this is the time in the service when we invite you to come and share a joy, a concern, a sorrow. The elements are there, and the floor is now yours. I want to let you know that Mamie is 91 today. And for those of you who remember the Chiltons, Eugenia has crossed over as of last Thursday. She spoke highly of this congregation, and I found out from the minister, Reverend Sherman, in the UU congregation of Virginia. Does anyone need me to bring them stones? This stone is for those of you who, for whatever reason, didn't want to come up. We'll get you. We know where you live. It's time to book. That's for you. I want to share with you this morning a meditation by Brother John O'Donohue. Can't go wrong. within it. It's called In Praise of the Earth. We will have our time of quiet afterwards, so please center yourself as you see fit. Let us bless the imagination of the earth, that knew early the patience to harness the mind of time, waited for the seas to warm, ready to welcome the emergence of things dreaming of voyaging among the stillness of the land. And how light knew to nurse the growth until the face of the earth brightened beneath a vision of color. When the ages of ice came and sealed the earth inside an endless coma of cold, the heart of the earth held hope, storing fragments of memory ready for the return of the sun. Let us thank the earth that offers ground for home and holds our feet firm to walk in space open to infinite galaxies. Let us salute the silence and certainty of the mountains, their sublime stillness, their dream-filled hearts. The wonder of a garden trusting the first warmth of spring until its black infinity of cells becomes charged with dream. Then the silent, slow nurture of the seed's self, coaxing it to trust the act of death. The humility of the earth that transfigures all that has fallen of outlived growth. The kindness of the earth, opening to receive our worn forms into the final stillness. Let us ask forgiveness of the earth for all our sins against her, for our violence and poisonings of her beauty. Let us remember within us that ancient clay, holding the memory of seasons, the passion of the wind, the fluency of water, the warmth of fire, the quiver touch of the sun, and shadowed sureness of the moon. That we may awaken to live to the full the dream of the earth, who chose us to emerge and incarnate its hidden night in mind, in spirit, and in light. And now, while our minds are one for this brief moment, I leave you all with the eloquence of silence. And so it is. That was a little longer for Ann Silman. I heard her voice telling me to shut up. She used to tell me, she said, I wish you would make the meditations a little longer. So Ann, there you are. I'll practice again next. Well, we have another treat coming from the choir. Should we do it now? Okay. Well, the greatest use of life, William James reminds us, is to spend it on something that will outlast it. And in that spirit, we collect this morning's offering.
Our next song, Come Breathe With Us, Gaia. Wait, wait. Oh, microphone's not on. There we go. I need to get closer to it. There we go. Our next song, Come Breathe With Us, Gaia, was composed by our director, Anna Linda Metzner, based on a beautiful old Irish melody. The words are taken from an invocation that she wrote to Gaia, the Greek goddess of the earth, to whom all living things are connected. Thank you for your generosity. Okay. As some of you remember, we were going to do this, and then Helene decided that we weren't going to do it. And so, he who laughs last, laughs best. She. I was being selfish.
One of my favorite things about Unitarian Universalism is the unique way, I will put it that way, that we approach our faith. And what I mean by that is that we try to do things without strings attached. You know, our worship and our community doesn't just stay within these walls. Like, we're not going to go out and missionary to you and give you things and hope that you'll follow us. We'll just do it. And so, as I see it, climate justice and our faith are interwoven, almost knotted up, if you will. Upholding our faith goes hand in hand for advocating for the earth on which we live. We didn't have to go, well, we did maybe before we became UUs, but you know, we were taught that in Genesis that we were supposed to conquer and subdue the earth. It was our duty to do that. But our seventh principle calls for us to respect the interdependent web of all existence. Easier said than done. How can we do that if we are all so slowly, I mean not so slowly, suffocating the web, which is our home? Our sixth principle calls for peace, liberty, and justice for all. But how can we achieve that while pumping toxins into the air that all of us breathe? How can we achieve that when we fill our waters with plastic and other pollutants? How can we achieve that when we watch ourselves steal others' right to a livable world right from under them? Our faith tradition seeks to promote equity and justice, meaning that the damage climate change is causing is the very antithesis to everything that we say we believe. Climate change is unjust because fossil fuel burning and other types of air pollution are creating an unbreathable atmosphere. And because communities of color breathe nearly 40% more polluted air than their white counterparts. Climate change is unjust because the countries that contribute the least to the human race's carbon footprint are the very same countries that are on the forefront of the disasters being caused by it. Climate change is unjust because 80% of the people displaced by climate change are women. And it's also unjust because the life that many of the most fortunate people alive now, a life with clean water, breathable air, accessible food, is a life that their children will never experience. Humanity has faced many crises throughout our millennia of existence, but arguably, there's always nuclear war in case you have doubts. The climate crises may be the most threatening yet. We consider ourselves the most intelligent species, yet it's not the whales or the sea turtles filling their waters with waste, or the Amazon wildlife clear-cutting their own forests. No other species works so actively to destroy their only home. And no other species must now work to stop it. While other species have not been able to see their extinction coming, we're staring at it dead in the face. We talk about a future, but we have the potential lack of one if we don't start paying attention. And as much as we perceive the climate crises as threatening the lives of our children not yet born, the truth is that their lives and ours are already at risk. While we hear that we have about 15 years left until climate catastrophe, the reality is that it's already started. Recently, you and I both have seen environmental issues become more and more present in people's minds. Plenty of people think climate change is all about ice caps and polar bears, but the reality of it is so much more. Climate change is the fear that you and I will have no future. It's panic attacks and depression because people believe there is no hope. See, and you thought it was just Trump. The calculus is simple. The globe is warming in an old historic pattern, but it is accelerating due to human activity. The warmth is causing our ice packs and glaciers to melt. The extra melting water causes the seas to rise and forces us all further inland and up to higher ground. But given that global warming is going on everywhere, we can imagine that warming continuing and continuing and continuing, eventually encroaching on many of the densely populated parts of the world. 40% of the world's population lives on the coasts.
Yeah.
That's about 3 billion souls. As the seas rise, the populace will be forced off the coasts and further inland. Already encroaching seawater is taking over places like the Mekong Delta. And the area is losing its farmland and the livelihoods of its farmers. San Francisco, Seattle, and Vancouver, British Columbia, they're all built on the edge of the former familiar shoreline, and that water is coming more and more. New York City is sinking. So think of all the port cities in the world. Climate writer Bill McKibben states that rising seas are shrinking the good land available for our 8 billion people. We should begin to be planning for that now. No one in climate science is saying, boy, these things are happening slower than we thought. It's going even faster than they predicted. So 18-year-old climate activist Greta Thunberg, remember her?
Yeah.
Says it's time to act like our house is on fire, because it is. And although this may be the biggest obstacle to a livable future humanity that we've ever faced, it's also the best opportunity we've had to come together in solidarity. In this time of crisis, we can be united for a common cause. It always takes something like this to bring us back together. And then afterwards, if we survive, we go back to our corners. But the time is now. Because the issue is important. Because we're human beings. We're sentient life. And because anything that affects one of us affects all of us. It's not a sexy message. It's almost like you take it for granted. It's made even more important because we as Unitarian Universalists and environmental justice is so deeply ingrained in the way we view our faith. And that's why our church has said that this is the most pressing problem that we want to devote our time and energy to. It's not to say that race is not important. It's not to say that nuclear exchange is not important. We have time for all that. Maybe. But we believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every person and every sentient being. And so we naturally believe in the commitment to the planet that houses us. This is not only because our faith speaks directly and deeply to issues of justice and interdependence, that is true, but also because faith is vital if we're going to make the changes that we need to. You have to have faith in something. Living where and when we do. Some of us have been infected with a late-stage capitalist white culture, middle-class ethic of individualism. This habit of assuming that everybody has to take care of themselves, and the best we can do is buy a hybrid or make other conscious purchases and recycle, lures us into isolation rather than bringing us together in solidarity to unmask and dethrone the corrupt powers of greed and exploitation that are doing the most harm to the government and up to our environment. The dominant culture separates us into individuals with very little power. Faith helps us to dismantle that attitude. Faith helps us to dismantle that toxic, outdated idea, and instead of taking the risk of joining in collective liberation, sometimes we say, well, I'm going to do what I can do, and that's about it. Theologian Sharon Welsh, building on the work of feminist and black liberation and womanist theologians, she makes a difference between an ethic of control and an ethic of risk. The ethic of control will feel similar to many people, though maybe not by that name. This worldview claims that we have to be individual pioneers, mastering ourselves and our surroundings, and that the highest aspiration is to be in charge, to control our environment, to control the people around us, to control our emotions, to control the outcomes we are headed toward. On the other hand, the ethic of risk asks us to be part of a collective, to respect different ways of knowing and unknowing, to realize that solidarity, realistic assessment, and openness to heart and spirit means letting go of attachment to outcomes. Let me read that again. The ethic of risk means that we have to respect different ways of knowing and unknowing, to realize that solidarity and realistic assessment and openness to heart and spirit means you let go of the outcomes. You do what you do, and then you have to let it go. In the ethic of risk, we dig deeply into the messy work of building community, of listening with humility, of doing the right thing without assurances of success. Grounding in pluralistic community is essential. This is theological work. Why? Because it reminds us that we are not gods. And because it holds us accountable to a spiritual vision of interdependence. Living into an ethic of risk is unpredictable and it's difficult, which is why it causes fear. It is faith in action. We take chances, we make mistakes, and we realize that things will get messy. In witnessing and working for the planet, one of the ways to take chances is to join in coalition with other institutions, organizations, faith communities, and constituencies. And I know you're saying, well, Michael, we already do that, particularly those who are most affected by pollution, environmental peril, and climate change. The ethic of risk comes into play in letting go of ideas about what is the right way to do things, or the most important steps, or who should naturally be in charge. We witness to this and we connect the dots when we acknowledge that all oppressions are linked, whether it's militarism, racism, any other isms, they're all connected. So one is not more crucial than the other. And we witness this when people of faith and leaders from the most impacted communities come together to bear witness to environmental devastation, institutional racism, the war economy, systemic poverty, and the connections between all of those things. UUs and people of many faiths who are poor and or people of color and or are differently abled have found and are finding their voice in their place in a way that has not always been welcomed in other movements. For those of us with relative privilege, it is not our leadership or our strategy or our knowledge that is most needed now. It is our humility. It is our support and our attention. Listening and following has not always been easy. When for those who have been trained for their entire lives to take charge, to interrupt, to assume their education makes them experts, that may be a different way of working than some of you are used to. Those who are motivated to show up because environmental devastation is close to their hearts are asked for solidarity. There are many good people working across divisions for a better world, and they all have worthy and ambitious agendas. Showing up anyway when we don't know what will happen can be hard. The ethic of risk adds us to let go of control and to be more of a we than a me. To take a chance on liberation because none of us is free until all of us are free. And so when it comes to action for the planet, this spiritual discipline of humility becomes very important for all of us, especially for us as adults. Young people are bringing a commitment and a sense of urgency and a prophetic witness that we really need. They are telling us hard truths. Look at the world we've left them, and you have the nerve to complain about them. It is incumbent on those of us who are older to work alongside and in support of young people who are responding to climate change, not to talk over them. Their experience matters. Age is one of the privileges we need to be conscious of as we build our coalitions. Unitarian Universalist congregations are, as institutions, communities of relative privilege. No crime in that. Not all of us are white, not all of us are wealthy, and not all of us are able-bodied, not all of us are educated, but because we have among us a higher than average level of all of those privileges, we collectively have power that we can harness effectively, or we can just let it dissipate into denial, despair, and isolated efforts. We leverage our collective power when we are generous with the gifts of our time and talent and treasure, when we are able to let go of individual whims in order to channel our collective power toward what? Toward shared values. When we can put enough trust in the institution or the congregation that we have something to bring to the table when we organize around interfaith organizing. When we follow the lead of our interfaith partners who are most impacted by threats to planetary health and dignity. Our living tradition, as you use, reminds us that we are in this life together. Unitarianism suggests that we are one in spirit. Universalism suggests that our destinies are all intertwined. The mystery of the interdependent web is that any one of us, whatever we do, again, it affects all of us. But yet you as an individual need not take sole responsibility for the fate of the world. You don't have to be the savior of the world. You can't be anyway. Whether your gift in community is advocacy, in the halls of power, or building coalitions, or creating inspiration with art and music, or sustaining a place that can provide spiritual and emotional renewal to those bringing their work to the world. Blessings be upon you. Remember to stay connected to your faith. Remember to risk collaboration, humility, and uncertainty remember to return here as we care for one another in the midst of transforming ourselves. And hopefully, by transforming ourselves, we will transform the world. So be it, and so it is. Oh, we have another. This is a real treat. I haven't heard this. Our closing hymn in the teal hymn. Take it from here, Maestro.
Okay, it's in this teal colored, the other hymnal, number 1064. This is called Blue Boat Home, and you have probably heard this melody. We sing it as earth was given as a garden, same melody. Only the last 3 words are longer, Blue Boat Home. Oh, you can.
Okay, let's do it quickly, because that food looks good out there. Maestro and the choir, let's show them. Let me read this, I'll get you out. Live simply, gently, at home in yourselves. Speak the truth or keep your mouth shut. Crave peace for all people in the world, beginning with yourselves. And go as you go with the dream of that peace, alive in your heart, and share it with a broken world. Have a wonderful afternoon.